Hey guys, lepedaler back with another video. Today I'll be giving you guys my thoughts on the Whoop Strap 3.0. Now I currently don't own one, however I do own a piece of a tracking device that tracks basically everything that the Whoop Strap 3.0 does. And I've just been seeing a lot of fellow cyclists on the YouTube community have these straps. So it got me pretty intrigued because I'm used to using my own tracking device, which is called the OURA ring. And I wanted to figure out if the Whoop Strap was any better and to see what are the real key differences. This video is going to be talking primarily about the Whoop Strap. I'm not going to be comparing it to my OURA ring, but if you guys do like this video, please smash the like button and subscribe to the channel, as it does help with the growth. And if this video gets enough likes, I might do a comparison video with the OURA ring. But I will definitely make a video on the OURA ring just because it's helped me become a better cyclist, but not sponsored. Yeah, I want to look into the Whoop Strap. If you guys aren't familiar, I just want to talk about it. And you know, the one thing I'm going to tell you guys, so you guys stay interested in this video, is that the business model with the Whoop Strap is very interesting. It's a subscription-based model, which means that the bracelet or the strap is free, but the only way you can actually use it is if you're subscribed to their subscription, which is interesting, which means you never own the strap outright. You're basically like renting it because you have to pay monthly to use it. So that's very interesting. When I bought my OURA ring, I own it outright. Like I don't have to, it's not subscription based. Like I own this forever and I can always track everything that they give you to track there. However, I'm also open-minded to see if the Whoop Strap 3.0 is better than my OURA ring. And just putting it out there now, I would love for them to send me one to actually do a comparison, because if they don't, then most likely I would have to give, just right off the bat for that business model, I would have to give the OURA ring the edge. And I'll get into it later, and maybe not in this video, but another video, that owning your tracking device makes more sense, especially if it has basically all the same tracking experiences that the Whoop Strap has. But without getting too much on a rant, let's get right into this video. So we are currently on the Whoop website, and I just want to see right off the bat what they really claim. So results-oriented means that you'll get a reduced resting heart rate, increased heart rate variability, better sleep, fewer injuries, less booze, and smoother travel. Now, those are all things that I would say you have to take it upon yourself to actually get those results. So even me wearing a wearable device that tracks all of those metrics as well, you'll only see improvements if you actually follow through. And one thing that I do agree is, as soon as you do get a wearable device, whether it's Whoop or an OURA ring or whatever, is that you will see improvement, because no longer can you pretend that you're oblivious to how much you're sleeping, or if you do consume alcohol, how much you're actually drinking and how that affects your sleep. So having wearable devices where you can actually see firsthand that, oh wow, I'm getting a pretty crappy amount of sleep, even if you thought you were getting 7 hours or 8 hours of sleep. If you're consuming alcohol or working out extremely heavy and you're not getting the adequate amount of sleep, having a tracking device is really going to make you aware of how to improve your sleep, and that will improve other aspects in terms of recovery and just overall well-being. So I do agree with that. However, the marketing aspect is that you actually have to follow through with it. It's not that buying this is going to make your recovery and daily strain and all that stuff magically better. So I did some other research right off the bat so we can look into it. So the Whoop bracelet has 5 sensors. We're going to look at the design right now. So it looks like there's the metal part, which is where the technology and the sensors are. I guess that's detachable from the wool bracelet. So that's nice, because it probably will get sweaty and you'll have to wash it. Now the battery lasts for 5 days, and it's app linked. So the app actually has 4 main categories that it'll give you a cumulative based on the sensors. So the sensors we're going to touch in on, the sensor will actually read the following, but what the sensors actually are able to yield are these things. So daily recovery, and I guess these are a score, right? So you get a percentage. So daily recovery, cardiovascular strain, training load, and sleep quality. That's what the sensors are able to crunch from what they're looking at in terms of their metrics, and then they give you a percentage score. So let's see what the sensors measure. So the sensors measure heart rate variability. So heart rate variability, if you guys aren't familiar, is the differences in your heart beats. So basically, from every heartbeat, there's a pause. So it goes boom, 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 and that's the heart rate variability. And a higher heart rate variability means that you are recovered, and a lower heart rate variability means you're fatigued. So then the third thing that the sensor measures is ambient temperature, so the temperature of your skin. Fourth is movement, and then the fifth is skin conductivity. And then it's each day the sensors are able to collect around 100 megabytes worth of data, which is a lot of data. Data, potato. And then the sensors are green, so it actually lights up. And from what they say on this one is that the sensors actually send light through your skin, and then that's how it's able to read your blood pumping. And depending on how fast your heart's beating and all that stuff, and your heart rate variability, the sensors are able to tell based on the feedback. So that's pretty interesting technology. I know for my OURA ring, it just has sensors, and I guess because it's on the finger, it can sense it really, really good. So yet again, I would have to do a test between both of these to see how accurate they are. But from what I can say, majority of these technologies are accurate. That's why people do use them. So it really doesn't make a difference whether you use an OURA ring or a Whoop in terms of accuracy. But there are other reasons why I would choose one over the other, and we will get into that, right? So even with my OURA ring, the Whoop, it takes a while to know you because everyone's baseline is different. So like for like skin or for like body temperature, heart rate variability, all that stuff, it has to actually get to know you for around like a week. Just to get your baselines, because everyone is different. And then from your baselines, then it'll start giving you averages. And that's the cool thing with these things, is that you will be able to get a trend eventually, depending on what you want to look at. So right off the bat, the main reason why people are going to be using the Whoop or just a tracking device in general is, and this is a topic that I'm going to be talking more on my channel. So even though I'm looking at the Whoop, this plays into cycling and also just training in general and becoming a fitter cyclist, which is what my channel is about. So a high resting heart rate means fatigued, which that makes sense. If you're trying to rest and your heart's going boom, 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 that means you're probably fatigued and it's trying to recover. Now, a low resting heart rate, meaning the lowest that your body's heart rate is when you're trying to actually sleep and rest, that means you're recovered, which makes sense because your heart's not working extra hard. Now, for heart rate variability, it's the total opposite. So a low heart rate variability means you're fatigued, because that means that the heart rate, it's not like steady in terms of the beats individually, whereas a high heart rate variability means recovered. So yet again, these things, I'm not a scientist and neither are you, but these things are good to get into the swing of things because it will help you recognize trends and maybe see when you need to rest a little bit more. So I have it on my app. I'm just going to tell you guys right off the bat, just quickly. So last night I slept for 6 hours and 54 minutes. I was in bed for 8 hours and 24 minutes. So one thing that's really interesting too, guys, and the Whoop does this as well. So I'm just bringing up my experience, but it's basically the same. Then again, there would be some minute differences. That's why I would love to test both of these out and compare them. But one thing that I found super interesting as soon as I started doing tracking is that even if you go to bed, so I technically was in bed at 10:40 and I woke up at 7:04. However, there was at least 1 hour and 30 minutes that I was in bed where I was awake. So even though I don't remember that, there was points where I was awake. So that's crazy because a lot of people think, well, if I'm in bed at 10:40 and I wake up at 7:04, then yeah, I got 8 hours and 30 minutes of sleep. I'm super rested, right? And the reality is you're not. So I only got 6 hours and 54 minutes of sleep, which is important because the optimal is 7 to 9 hours. I would say the more realistic is 7 to 8. So I was almost there, but that's one thing that's super important because then you can compensate and be like, well, if I went to 10:40, maybe if I went at bed at 10 or 10:10, then it would compensate for that. I would be guaranteed 7 hours. So it's really cool that you can start tracking this. So my resting heart rate my average was 51 beats per minute, and the lowest was 46 beats per minute. So if we do look at the chart for heart rate for resting heart rate for an athlete, 18 to 25, I'm 21. The average beats per minute for resting heart rate is between 49 and 51. So mine was 51. So I'm pretty good. So I'm pretty well rested. That's a good rested heart rate, right? And then in terms of readiness, so my app uses readiness and sleep score, and I guess their readiness is kind of like when they have their training load or daily recovery. I think it's along those lines, because it's like how ready are you to get the day going training. I think it has to do with training load. Then again, like I said, I'm not super familiar, but it's very similar. So my readiness today was 81, and my heart rate variability was 91. And if we look at the chart, they actually have it on Whoop. For my age, let's use 2021. It's between 60 and 105. So I have 91. So I'm well within the average for heart variability, which is good. So if we look back at the Whoop, we're going to look at some of the charts now to show you what you get when you purchase it. So you can see right here, let's look at this. So you can see recovery percentage. So it'll give you based on how well you sleep. So sleep is usually the part where you'll actually get all your metrics from. The Whoop is worn throughout the whole day. Technically, you can wear the OURA ring also throughout the whole day, but usually all the number crunching is going to be done at night, because that is when your body's actually recovering, right? So during the day, there's a load on it, right? And then during nighttime, that's actually when you're recovering. So that's when all the data that it actually gathers yields the biggest percentage. Now, the OURA ring, I personally just wear it at nighttime, just because I usually don't wear rings, and that's the other thing with the Whoop too, is that I don't know how keen I would be on wearing a bracelet, but again, I'd probably use it during the nighttime. It depends too, because the Whoop also it tracks during the day. The OURA ring does also, so I would like to do a better comparison to see which one's more accurate. That's like the biggest thing for making this video too, is that I want to see which one's more accurate, and there's a reason, and I'm going to touch upon it at the end. But the sleep, where this plays into sleep with recovery, is that sleep, you're trying to determine the quality of sleep, how much sleep is needed, and hours of sleep you got. So one thing I like here that I don't get in my app is that it says if you want to peak tomorrow, it says recommended time in bed. So how much time you would actually have to be in bed. So it's actually doing what I just said. It has to compensate. So even though I was in bed for 8 hours, I didn't get 8 hours of sleep. So it's cool that it does that. It says suggested time to go to bed. So it'd be like 10:44. And then wake up time 7:30, and then recommended time in bed depending on how much you wake up and all that stuff. It's 7 hours and 53 minutes of sleep you'll needed to peak depending on your previous stress and whatnot. So I think that's cool. It has time in bed, disturbances, latency, efficiency. Like I have all those metrics too. So it's very similar. I just like how they do it a little bit more simple, that you can see right off the bat. Like this one is simple also. You just have to get used to it. And I think that's the other thing too. You have to get used to the platform depending on what you're using. As long as all the metrics are there, it really depends on what you're used to. So I find it's pretty accurate in terms of if this actually is all reliable. It's pretty aesthetically easy to read. And then you have daily strain. So this day was more strenuous than 89% of all days across Whoop athletes. So daily strain, I guess, it takes your workouts. So it says 662 calories, average heart rate, max heart rate, and then duration. So it basically takes your workout that you wore your Whoop bracelet for, and it crunches the numbers and gives you a daily strain. So I find that pretty interesting. Now the app, the OURA ring also, I guess this is kind of like a comparison to the OURA ring. I'm just going to do it. But I'll probably make a thorough video if I actually do get a Whoop bracelet and can give you guys that. But whatever. I also have this here on my app, and it basically takes in the amount of time that you worked out, and you can actually have it synced to Strava, and it'll pull the workout depending on how the duration and the calories. The only thing you don't get is the heart rate variability, which I guess is a little bit more accurate here. I don't personally wear my OURA ring when I work out, just because I don't like to, especially if I'm holding the handlebars and whatnot. So even though I guess the Whoop bracelet in terms of that aspect might be a little bit more comfortable. But then again, like I said, the most important is when you're sleeping. That's when your body's that's when the metrics are the most important. But then again, I do find the feature that it does track the heart rate and whatnot when you work out. I find that's like exclusive to Whoop. And then let's look at the last metric. That's just sleep performance a little bit more in depth. So in total, right, I would say piece for piece, I would love to do a test between the Whoop and the OURA Ring, just because I find that in general they have pretty standard metrics that both of them are tracking, right? So I don't feel like Whoop outperforms the OURA Ring, or the OURA Ring outperforms the Whoop. Now, the thing that I finally am going to get to now, because I know you guys are waiting for this, is why did I say right off the bat that the Whoop was like probably worse than the OURA Ring? And that's just because let's try to purchase the Whoop, okay? So that's not purchasing, that's an ad. So let's join now, okay? So they're saying join for as low as $30 a month. That is a steal. Let's join now. I don't want any extra bands, so let's do continue. Whoa, there it is. There is the membership. So it's a monthly membership of either $30 with 6-month commitment, 12-month membership with $24 a month, so that's $288. And then, so basically, let's choose the cheapest one, right? So you get the Whoop Strap 3.0 for free, but you have to pay $30 a month with 1 month. 1 month you get for $30 with 6-month commitment, meaning you would have to pay $180 USD to have it for 6 months, and for a year it would be $360, which I find to be absurd. And the reason why is, unless this is way more accurate than the OURA Ring, I bought my OURA Ring for $300 USD, and I own it outright now. I don't have to pay a monthly membership. I get basically all the stats that you get on the Whoop, but I own this device. So I own my OURA Ring outright. So, you know, I don't have to pay a monthly subscription to actually see all my metrics. Now, the only thing I'd be really curious to see if it's worth the money is the daily strain aspect of the Whoop. So yet again, if Whoop is very confident that their device is worth the money when in compared to the OURA Ring, like I said, for $300 you get to buy it outright. If they're so confident that their Whoop bracelet is better than the OURA Ring that you own outright and can see basically all the same metrics that they are, please send me out a Whoop bracelet, purely because I want to see. I can send it back after. I just want to see if it is actually better than the OURA Ring, because if it isn't, the thing that I don't like to see is that all these cyclists that a lot of people are watching on YouTube are using the Whoop bracelet. Maybe it's paid advertisement, maybe it isn't, but whatever it is, you know, people should be talking more about the OURA Ring because you own the unit outright. So unless this is superior technology and it actually yields better results in terms of being able to manage recovery and be able to gauge efforts better, because it does track daily strain a little bit more efficiently than the OURA Ring, then, you know, I'd maybe support it and vouch for it. But until then, I would say, just from what I've experienced and improving my riding through sleep and through recovery, the OURA Ring basically does everything that you really need it to do. And if Whoop wants to send it to me, great. If they don't, that's fine. I will be making a thorough video on my experience with the OURA Ring from start to finish. This was more just using Whoop, figuring out what Whoop is and seeing what their whole thing, everything about Whoop. So that was what this video was, using a little bit of comparisons with the OURA Ring. And the next video I'll make, depending on the feedback, if you guys do like this video, want me to go even more in depth, just with touching everything that I've learned from tracking sleep, tracking recovery, tracking everything, I will do a thorough video on how the OURA Ring has helped me become a better overall athlete. And other than that, you know, there's other wearable technologies. I know the Apple Watch does a little bit of these things, but it's not as thorough. So, you know, heart rate variability, heart rate, rest, sleep is insanely crucial for better overall cycling performance. I'll touch it up on real quick. I know a lot of you guys do like this stuff. I'm a personal fan of just how to improve as an athlete, right? So in terms of cycling, a lot of people get focused on like, oh, I need this handlebar, I need this carbon, that. And it's funny because this device was like $300. I know I keep taking it off, but it's quite small. It was $300. And $300 has now put me to the point where I've been able to make significant gains in terms of being an athlete, right? So I'm less tired now. Then again, I've taken upon myself to use the metrics that it yields and actually hold myself accountable. So it is me also that's been doing the hard work. But, you know, ever since I got this, I sleep better because I put more emphasis on sleep, because I track my sleep. And I think I said this when talking about my weight loss video, is that you need to track definite numbers so you can hold yourself accountable. And if things aren't working, you have to look back and be like, well, I weighed this much, I keep eating this thing, so that might suggest if I don't eat that thing, I might lose more weight. So yet again, it's like sleep. It's that, okay, I sleep at 12 o'clock, I might get 10 hours or 8 hours of sleep, but what happens if I sleep at 10 o'clock and sleep for 8 hours and wake up earlier? Let me see how I feel doing that. So yet again, having numbers that you can actually use and to figure out what works best for you is the best thing with tracking. So in general, it's super good. I find it yields results way better than you can buy parts for your bike, but in terms of making yourself a better athlete, a better performing athlete, tracking sleep is instrumental for performance. So I will do a thorough video just talking about my whole experience in detail. So if you guys want to see that, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. I know this is a little bit different from my normal content, but like I said, I'm posting everything on this channel related to cycling and related to my own experiences. So if you guys want to support that, just keep doing what you're doing. I really do appreciate the growth on this channel. And until the next time, keep on pedaling.